Hey guys, this is Hemant from Edureka. Welcome to this live session on UiPath Orchestrator. Today in this session, I'm going to teach you guys how you can use the UiPath Orchestrator, which is nothing but how you can deploy robots on client machines using your servers. Now, I'm also going to try to make this session more beneficial for beginners who don't know what RPA is, who don't know UiPath is. So you guys are going to get a crash course on what RPA is and what UiPath is in this session. All right, so let's start with the session and see what is our agenda for today. And before starting, guys, if you guys have any doubts during the session, please put it in the comment box. My team is here to help you out and they shall be answering your queries. All right, so let's start with the session with the agenda. So guys, this is my agenda for today. I'll start with what is RPA and then move on to the different tools which I use to implement this technology. After that, we are going to pick one tool out of these tools, which is UiPath, and I'm going to teach you guys how you can use the UiPath Studio. After that, I'm going to teach you what UiPath Orchestrator Community Edition is and how you can use it. And towards the end, we'll be doing a demo where I'll demonstrate it to you how you can use the orchestrator to deploy robots on client machines. All right, so guys, this is our agenda for today. I hope it's clear to you. So without wasting any time, let's move on to the first topic of today's discussion, which is what is RPA. So as you guys know, RPA is an acronym for Robotic Process Automation. So let's see these three words closely and see what they actually mean. Right? So robotic is basically an entity which can mimic the human actions, right? It's a computer entity which can mimic the human actions, and any entity like that is known as robotic. Then comes process. So any sequence of steps that you do that lead to a meaningful task is known as a process. All right, so it could be the process of making your taking your dog outside your home, so you have to put the leash on him and then you take him outside the home. It could be the process of making tea. You put water in your kettle, then you put tea leaves and then milk, and then your tea is ready. So it could be any process. So any sequence of steps that lead to a meaningful activity, like I said, is known as a process. Then comes automation. So whenever a task happens without any human intervention, it is known as automation. Alright, so if you were to summarize these three words, mimicking human actions to do a meaningful task without human intervention is known as RPA. Alright, so for those of you who don't know about RPA, any task that you want to do which involves humans, and it involves repetitive or rule-based tasks, if those kind of tasks you want to automate, that can be done using RPA. All right, moving forward, guys, now this RPA technology can actually be implemented using a variety of tools which are available in the market. Now what are these tools? You have UiPath, you have Blue Prism, and you also have Automation Anywhere. So apart from these, there are quite a lot of tools, but these are the top 3 tools which are available in the market right now. And today in this session, I'm going to teach you guys what is UiPath, how you can use UiPath, and why am I talking about UiPath today. The first reason would be that I also want you guys to be able to practice the demos that I'm doing today, right? So UiPath has provided us with Community Edition, which is free to use, and anybody who is an RPA enthusiast, anybody who wants to learn RPA can use this tool by using the Community Edition. If I talk about the other tools, which is Blue Prism and Automation Anywhere, they don't have the Community Editions, or they don't give a trial version. Automation Anywhere does give a trial version, but with Community Edition in UiPath, you don't have any boundaries, you don't have any limitations in creating and executing automations, and that is the reason we'll be using UiPath today. All right, now moving forward, let me get started with the UiPath tool. Right, let me give you an introduction to UiPath. So before creating any automation in UiPath, or before starting any automation in UiPath, you have to be acquainted with the key concepts which are there in this UiPath Studio. Alright, so what are those key concepts? You should understand what are activities and what are sequences. Alright, so let's discuss these terms one by one. So what are activities? So an activity is the smallest action in UiPath. For example, the click of a button of your mouse is also an activity. You typing into a text box is also an activity. All right, you closing an application is also an activity. So all these tasks, all these small tasks are known as activities. Now these activities, when they're combined together, they lead to a sequence, right? And this is what a sequence is. So when you combine these activities to do a meaningful task, it is known as a sequence, right? For example, for logging into your Gmail, the sequence would be to first open the Gmail page, enter the username, then the password, and then clicking on login, right? So all these activities, all these small activities that you just did led to logging into Gmail, right? So it becomes a sequence. All right. Now, if you were to talk about the UI of UiPath Studio, the user interface of UiPath Studio, this is how it looks. All right. So let me quickly switch to my tools so that I can show you how the UiPath tool actually looks like. So give me a second. Alright guys, so I hope you guys can see my tool. So guys, this is the UiPath screen. This is how the tool actually looks like. Now if I were to show you guys how my how you can actually create projects inside your UiPath. So this is the main screen guys. This is where all the magic happens, right? So let me create a new sequence for you guys so that I can show you how easy it is to actually create an automation inside UiPath Studio, right? So this is basically your design space. This is where you will be creating all your automations in the UiPath Studio. On the left side, you can see these are all the activities, or these are all the small tasks which are available to you, which you can simply drag and drop and use them. So let me create a sample automation for you. Let me start with something very basic. For example, you want your computer to take an input from you, and you want it to be displayed back from message box. All right, so if you want to do this using coding guys, this would be very difficult, but I know most of you guys must not be from the developer background, or also for those of you who are from the developer background, you will be amazed to how simple it is to do this particular task. All right, so I'll click on search activities, and the smallest task that I want to do right now is take my input. So I'll type in input dialog. All right, I'll drag and drop the input dialog over here. I'll specify enter text. I'll specify enter the message. All right, and then this message that you'll be entering, it has to be stored somewhere, right? So we have to declare a variable for this. So declaring a variable is very simple. Just go here in the variable tabs, click on string. All right, not string, let it be say a word. Cool. And then you'll click on input dialog, you'll go into the properties, and inside output, so this is the page, this is the part of your program where it'll assign the value to a variable. So over here you have to mention the variable inside which the value should be stored. So let's specify it as the variable if we just created, which is word. All right, so this is done. The next part is displaying it on in a message box. So let's search for a message box. All right, let's drag and drop it over here, and let's enter the text that we want to see. So say this is, we'll enter, this is the text that you entered, colon, space, and just add the variable to this, which is word. All right, and it's set. So let's run this particular program that I just created in UiPath. I'll hit run. It will ask me for the message, right? So let me enter the message as, say, my first automation, and I'll hit OK. All right, so now you can see the message box says this is the text that you entered, and it says my first automation. All right, so this is how simple it is to actually create automations inside UiPath Studio. Now let me do something very much complex that you guys will like. So I have created this particular program which does scraping, which basically involves extracting information from a particular e-commerce website and storing it inside an Excel file. All right, so let's see how this goes, how this is actually happening. Alright, so let me edit some part of it and let's see how it happens. Alright, so I'll hit run, and it'll ask me for the search term now. What is the product that I want to search on the e-commerce website? Say I want to search for a BlackBerry. Alright, I'll enter BlackBerry, I'll click on OK, and it'll go on and it'll now open uh, the e-commerce website. It has searched for BlackBerry over there, right? And now it'll go over there and search for each and every product on that particular website. Once it's got that product, it will store the information inside an Excel file, and that is what I'll be getting. All right, so let's see how it ends. Alright, so I can see there are around 1 lakh results for this. Let me try some other search term because this will take a lot of time. So let me close this particular automation. Let us run this program again with a different search term. Alright, so let's enter the search term as say iPhone. Let's search for iPhone. I hope there are not more iPhones than BlackBerry. So alright, let's see how this is running. Alright, so there are only 133 results, which is a good thing for me. So now it's running the automation, and once it reaches the end page of the search, it'll recognize this page and it'll say, okay, my search has ended. Now it'll take all the results which it has just scraped from the website, and it will now store it inside an Excel file. Now imagine, guys, if you were to do this manually, how would you do it? So for doing this manually, guys, you'll go to each page, you will copy the name, you'll copy the price, and you will do that for each and every product which is there on this e-commerce website, right? And doing that will take a lot of time, right? And we guys are very short of time, right? It took around, I guess, a minute to actually get everything. So let's check if we got our CSV file. So this is the CSV file. As you can see, it's 8:14 right now, and it's just been modified. Let's open the CSV file here. And yes, as you can see, the name and the prices have been extracted from that particular website, and now I have a list of iPhones with their prices. Right, so this is the kind of automation that you can create in UiPath, and I think it only took me around 15 minutes to create this automation. And don't worry, guys, I'll be teaching you guys how to create this automation maybe in some other session, right? But today, since it's an introductory session and it should be about the UiPath Orchestrator, I'll teach you how you can execute this particular project on some other client machine without even downloading this project on that client machine. Right, and for that, what I've done is I've created an AWS server and I've installed UiPath on it. Now what I'll be doing is I'll be running the command from this particular machine to my UiPath orchestrator, and my program will run then on the AWS machine. Alright, so this is our agenda for UiPath Orchestrator. But before that, let's understand what UiPath Orchestrator actually is. Alright, so a UiPath Orchestrator typically has this kind of process which is designed around it. So first, inside the orchestrator, you have to define robots. So what are robots? Robots are nothing but the part of your automation which will be executing everything. For example, in the automation that I just showed you, there was a part of the program which was scraping everything, which was clicking on next, right? And then in the end, it saved everything in the Excel file and then ended the automation, right? So that entity is known as a robot. Now I have to define inside the orchestrator where my robot actually is, which machine it is running on, right? So I've defined all of that, and I hence create a robot. So once a robot is defined and your orchestrator is connected to your machine, the next thing that you have to do is create an environment. Now what is an environment? An environment is basically a playground where you have put your robots. Now the next thing that you will be doing is inside that environment you will be putting the project that you want to run. All right. So that project in UiPath Orchestrator is known as a process. So you'll be putting the process, or you'll be putting that project inside that environment, and then the robot is able to see that project, right? And it is inside the environment. And then you go to jobs, which is the third part of your UiPath environment, or the UiPath user interface. And inside jobs, you just try to run the project and define which robot should execute that project. Now, the robots are nothing but machines. They are different client machines that you have defined in UiPath Orchestrator. And whatever machine you specify, it will run on that particular machine, the project that you have specified or you have uploaded inside your environment. All right, so this is basically the whole story behind UiPath Orchestrator. And don't worry if you don't understand anything, what I've just told, the story that I've just told. We'll be doing that in demo, and I'll teach you and take you from each and every step for creating your environment, you're creating your robots, and hence executing your jobs inside UiPath Orchestrator. All right, now let's move ahead, guys. So this is the orchestrator page. This is where your orchestrator is actually located. So you have to go to this URL, which is platform.uipath.com. Once you have reached this URL, you will have to register yourself on the orchestrator. So it is a very simple, straightforward process. You enter email ID, your password, and the relevant details, and you just click create. And once you click create, you will be prompted with this screen. This is basically the dashboard of your UiPath Studio. All right. So let me quickly show you the path, the user interface for UiPath Orchestrator inside my browser. So give me a second. All right, so we'll go to platform.uipath.com. I'll hit enter. And guys, this is the user interface for your UiPath Orchestrator. Right now, you have robots here, you have processes, you have jobs, you have schedules, assets, queues. What are these? I'll be explaining in a moment. All right, so the first thing, like I said, if you refer to the diagram, is creating a robot. So let's create a robot first. So for creating a robot, you will go to the robot tab by clicking over here, and you will be clicking on the add icon. Once you click on the add icon, this is the screen that you get prompted with. This is the key that you have to copy and paste on your machine so that your UiPath Orchestrator can recognize, okay, so this is the machine I have to connect to. All right. Once you connect to your your robot that is on your machine, you have to specify the machine name over here. So machine name, you can get your machine name basically by going into start computer, right click over there, properties, and you'll have the machine name over there. So let me quickly show you the machine name from my computer. So if I click on properties, this is the machine name for me. The computer name is the machine name, which is Edureka 41. All right, so I'll be entering that over here, and then if you want to rename your robot something, you have to enter the name of your robot. Then the domain, so domain basically means the account name that you have for your computer. For example, my domain name would be Hemant, right? For you, it would be the username that you have used for your Windows machine. After that, you have to enter the password over here for your machine, and then click on provision. All right, so let us do that for my machine first. So let me quickly show you how you can launch the UiPath Studio or the UI robot on your machine. Right, so by default, guys, your UI robot service is not running on your computer. If you want the UI robot service to run on your computer, there's a little something that you have to do extra, which is you will be going to the path where your UiPath Studio exe is located. For that, just go to your UiPath Studio icon, right click on it, and go to properties. So this is basically the shortcut that you'll have on your desktop, right? And you have to take this path and you have to go to this particular path, right? I'll copy the path. I will go to this particular path. Let's go from here. All right. This is the place where your UiPath has been installed. Now you will be going inside the app folder. So let's go inside the app folder, and once you are there inside the app folder, you will scroll down and you will find an icon which is known as UI robot. All right. Once you find it, double click on it to run it, and it will run as a service in your system tray. All right. So as you can see, I have a UiPath robot running over here. All right. So now I have to connect this robot to the orchestrator. So for doing that, I will right click on the robot. I will click on settings, and I will get this page. So this is the page where you'll be entering the robot key that you'll be getting from Orchestrator, and you have to enter the Orchestrator URL over here, which is platform.uipath.com. All right. So let's try to connect this robot to my Orchestrator. So I'll go to my Orchestrator. I'll copy the key. I will again go to this page. I will paste the key over here. All right. Done. Now I will go to Orchestrator URL, and now over here I have to specify this particular URL. Right, so let's specify the URL over here. Done. Now robots is not required. All you have to enter is platform.uipath.com. All right. So once you have created your robot over here, you will click on connect. So let's create the robot here. So let's enter Edureka 41, which is the machine name for me. Right, the name that I want to give to my robot, let me give it as local system. Right, the domain is Hemant, that is my account name, and let me give the password now. So my password is this. All right, now let's go down, and that is it. That is all you have to configure for creating a robot. Once I click on provision, it will list my robot over here with the name local that I've given to my robot, and the status is right now disconnected. All right, so what I'll do now is I'll go here, I'll click on connect. Now if all the information that you have entered is right, you will be successfully connected to your UiPath Orchestrator. So it takes some time to connect. All right, so it has connected, and if you see here, the status is available now. So you have successfully connected your robot to your orchestrator. Now let's connect the AWS service as well. Right, so this is my EC2 instance. So this is the EC2 instance that I'll be connecting to. Right now the UI robot service is running over here. So let's connect this UI robot to my orchestrator. So I'll click on add icon. I will add the machine name. So I have to get the machine name from there. But I have the key here. So let's copy the key and paste it inside my UI robot, which is running over here. Let's go to settings. All right, this is where I'll be entering the robot key. Now this is the machine name that I have to copy. So let's copy the machine name. Let's go back to my UiPath Orchestrator. Let's paste the machine name over here. All right, done. Now what name do I want my AWS machine to have? So let's give it the name as AWS. What is the domain name for this? It is administrator. So let me Control A and put administrator over here. All right. Now I have to give the password. So let me get the password from my AWS console. I'll come back here. I'll put the password, and that's it. Now let's click on provision. All right, so my AWS robot has also been created, but it is right now in the disconnected stage. So let's connect our UiPath robot to orchestrators. For that, I have to again specify the orchestrator URL. So let's copy the orchestrator URL from here, which is this. Right, let us go back, paste it here, remove the slash from the end, and click on connect. Alright, so it'll again take some like 2-3 seconds to connect, and as you can see, it says disconnect over here, which basically means my robot has connected. Let's verify that in my orchestrator page. So, alright, so my AWS machine now is saying it is available, which is awesome. Now I want to, since my robots have been deployed, now I don't have an environment right now which I have created, right? So I'll go to environments. So this is an environment that I created earlier. Let me quickly delete it so that I can teach you from fresh. Alright, so I've deleted the environment. Now let's create a new environment and name this environment, say, as Edureka 1. Alright, and let's hit create. So this will create a new environment. Now what robots do I want in this particular environment to be deployed? So let us deploy the AWS server and my local machine as well. All right. So with you just have to click on the checkbox, and this will deploy your robot in your machine, in your environment, and you can click on close after that. All right. So your environment now consists of two robots which have been deployed. Now what is left is a project which has to be assigned to your environment. For that, you will go to processes, right, and you will click on add. Now once you click on add, this basically points to a common repository which UiPath Community Edition or UiPath Orchestrator Community Edition has provided us with. All right. So whenever you'll publish your projects to the UiPath Orchestrator, it will get published inside your this particular repository, right? And whenever you upload your projects, you will get your projects listed over here. Right, so this is the list of projects that people have uploaded, or people like you who were trying to use UiPath Orchestrator have uploaded. Right, so these are the pages. Now there's a glitch in UiPath Orchestrator, guys. Let me point that out, that it can only show a limited number of names over here. All right, so when you're naming your project anything, you have to be very sure that the naming convention is such that it get listed over here. All right, so for example, the Saurav guy, he made the name as 0000001 underscore Saurav, and it got on the top, and maybe that is the reason he'll be able to use it. But if you scroll down, guys, you cannot see anything beyond A, right? So these are all the projects that people have uploaded. Anything beyond A is not being reflected, and that is because this particular list can only show a few names. So like I said, you have to give the naming convention very carefully so that it gets listed over here. So before deploying a project, let's create a simple project that we want to upload. All right, for that, let's go to my UiPath Studio and let's create a new project. Let's name it as, say, 000 and let's give one more 0, that is 7 zeros and then 1 underscore Edureka. All right, so let's give it this name and hit create. All right, so this basically creates a project folder for me. Now I want to publish this project folder to my orchestrator, which I will do once I have created this particular automation. Right. Another cool thing that you need to notice in Orchestrator, guys, is that you'll be creating your project only once. You don't have to copy your project on each and every robot that you have deployed inside Orchestrator. All right, you'll be creating your project once. You'll be uploading it onto the repository, and any robot that you want to that you want your project to be deployed on, you just select that robot, hit run, and it will run on that particular machine without even being downloaded over there. All right, so let me drag and drop some kind of automation. All right, so let's try to run an automation on our AWS server. So let's run a very simple automation that I created earlier. Let's first drag and drop a sequence. So let me search for a sequence. It's here. Let's drag and drop it here. All right, then let's ask for an input. Let's enter details and type your input here. And let's create a variable for your input. Let's give this variable as an output over here. All right, and then let's create a message box. Let's drag and drop it here. Let's specify that this is your text that you entered. All right, let's specify the variable with it, which is input. All right, done. So it's complete. Let's save this project and let's now publish it to the orchestrator. So for that, I have to click on publish, and this will basically publish my project to the this is basically the repository where it's being saved on. and this is the package name, that is 0000001 underscore Edureka. All right, so we have successfully did that. Let's click on OK, and now let's hope our package gets listed over here. All right, so let's try to add a process. So it's refreshing the list. All right, so the list has been refreshed. So as you can see, my project is listed over here now. So I'll click on the project. All right, my environment is Edureka 1. So let's hit on create now. So this will basically import the project that is there on the repository to your environment. All right, so this is what I was telling you. So now your robot and your process is inside the same environment. Now the next step for you would be to execute a job. So let's do that. Let's go again to our UiPath Orchestrator and go to jobs. All right, let's try to execute a job. Now I have to select what job do I want to execute. So this is the project that I have deployed. All right, so these are servers where I can execute my job. So let's try to execute it on the AWS server. So I'll select AWS and I'll click on start. Let's see what happens. So if I go to my UiPath Orchestrator, so as you can see, it automatically launched the message box over here. All right, it is asking for my input. Let me specify the input. Say I am on AWS server. All right, let me click OK, and this is your text that you entered. I am on AWS server. All right, so I created my project on UiPath Studio, which is on my local machine. I uploaded it on the repository, and then I deployed that particular project from my machine, from my orchestrator to over there, and it just gets executed automatically. So this is what I wanted to do. So congratulations on your first project on Orchestrator. Now let's try to do something more interesting. Let's try to create one more project here. Let's try to create a Gmail login. All right, so let's see how we can do that. So for creating a Gmail login, guys, the thing that you have to do is, first I would want a sequence. All right, so let's drag and drop the sequence over here, and then I want to open a browser. Right, so let me specify the browser over here. Now what browser do I want my project to open? Let's select it as Chrome, and let us open it in a private window. All right, and what is the URL that I want to go to? I want to go to gmail.com. So this has to be inside quotes. All right, once I'm on gmail.com, I want to click on the enter your email address text, right? So I'll search for a click activity. I'll drag and drop it here. All right, so now I have to indicate it inside my browser. So let me open it inside a private window. All right, so let's go to my UiPath. It is asking me where do I have to click. So it has to click inside this particular text box. Once it has clicked over there, I want to type something, right? So type, I'll search for an activity called type. I'll drag and drop it here. Where do you want to type into? I want to type into this text box. So let us specify the email address over here. So what is the email address that I want to log into? It's hemant@edureka.co. All right. Okay, so once it has entered here, it again has to click on next. So I'll drag and drop an activity for that. Let's indicate it inside the browser. So this is where I have to click once I've entered the URL, or once I've entered the email address. So let me enter, say, my email ID and click on next. This is next screen that I get. Now I have to enter my password. Alright, so this is something very interesting, guys. Now what you can do is, you can go to your orchestrator. Alright, you can click on assets, and once you click on assets, you can create your own variables over here, which you do not have to mention in your projects. Alright, so for that I will click on plus. right? I will give my asset name, the type should be credential, and my asset will be Gmail underscore login, right? Okay, so the username is hemant at the rate edureka.co, and the password is this. All right, let's click on add. Awesome. So it has now you know created a Gmail login asset for me, which basically is the of type credential and has a username this. Let me quickly check if this is the correct password for me. I ought to forget my passwords very frequently. Alright, so yeah, it was the correct password. So I've entered it over here, and now all I have to do is I have to come back to my project, and over here I have to go to the main screen, and over here there is an activity called Orchestrator. I'll go inside Orchestrator. I will find an activity called assets. I'll go inside asset, and there's a thing called get credentials. All right, so let me drag and drop it over here. Awesome. Now it is asking me the asset name. So the asset name is Gmail underscore login that I mentioned in my orchestrator. All right, and the password, where should the password go? The password should go inside a variable. So the variable should be pass, right? So I've specified the variable for my activity. So let me define it again. It was not saved, so it's pass. All right. All right. Now this pass has to be of the variable type password, right? So let us try to let me quickly show you how you can come around, or you can see what type of, how do you identify which type of variable type you have to define. So whenever you will enter a wrong type of input, it will show you this blue icon, right? So it says value of type string cannot be converted to system.security.secure string. So this basically gives you a hint. Okay, so this is the kind of activity, or this is the kind of variable that you have to declare. So we'll go to variable type, we'll go to browse for types, we'll go to system dot security dot secure string. All right, so it's system dot security dot secure string. I'll click on OK, and now if I go here, you can see the blue icon has gone, and it has successfully successfully accepted my variable inside the password. All right, so why am I doing this? I'm doing this because I want to get the password directly from the orchestrator rather than going to my defining it over here in the system. Okay, so I've done that. Now the next step is putting this variable that is pass inside my let me quickly open one more incognito window so that I can show you where it has to be entered. Alright, so this is the email, so let me specify the email first. Alright, and this is where my password will go, right? So I have to tell UiPath this is where you will be saving the password. So let me type secure text. So because we are entering a password, we have a different activity for entering the password inside my password field, which is type secure text. Where do I want to enter that password? I have to indicate that inside this particular activity. So I'll indicate element inside browser, which is here, right? And then I have to specify the secure text over here, which is pass. All right, this basically will enter your password on that page, and now you have to click on login to successfully execute your automation, or for successfully logging into your Gmail. So let's select next over here. So this will basically make you enter, or this will basically log you into Gmail. So my activity is done, guys. I have successfully created my activity now. So let's just try to publish it now, and let's see how it actually happens. All right, everything seems fine. Let's publish it. So it will get published under the same folder, which is this. So it has been published to this particular repository with this name. So now again a very important concept inside UiPath Orchestrator, which is, once you update your package, what do you have to do? Once you update your project, what should you do? So once you update your project, guys, you again have to go here inside processes and go to this particular tab, which basically means view versions. Right, I'll click on view versions, and over here you can see that a new version has just been published a few seconds ago. So I will use this particular version, and now my project has been uploaded, has been updated inside my environment. Let's try to run this process now on my AWS machine. Alright, so I'll select the process, which is this. I'll select the machine where I want it to run on, and I'll click on start, and let's hope for the best. Let's hope our project runs. So I'll click on start now. So the command has been sent. So let's see, let's wait for our okay. So basically over here we are getting a different kind of window. So I'll have to update the URL that I've updated in my page, because this will not work. So to do that, let us close this automation right now, and let me again go to my UiPath page. Let's see if I type in mail.google.com, how does it actually function. So if I type in mail.google.com, okay, so again I'm getting this page. So I have to click on sign in. Alright, so this is the page that I have to go to. Alright, so if I again enter gmail.com here, let's see if it redirects me to this page. Okay, so let me enter this URL then. So what I'll do is I'll go to this page, that is gmail.com, and let me tell my automation that you have to click on sign in. Alright, so let me copy this particular URL, copy it, and let me go to my project. So basically before going here, I have to enter this particular URL, and once it goes to this particular URL, let's see how it looks on my browser. Alright, so this is the page. Now I have to click on sign in first, right? So let us specify that. So let us include one more click activity and drag and drop it here, and indicate where do I have to click on. So I have to click on sign in. So once I've clicked on sign in, I will reach this page, and everything seems the same after that. Alright, so let's update our project, which we have just modified. So let's save this project and click on publish. So the project has been updated in the repository. Now we'll go to UiPath Orchestrator, which is here, and see over here you got faulted because it could not execute successfully. So now I'll go to processes, I'll update my version by going to view versions, and it basically takes time to get reflected over here. So what I'll do is I'll click on refresh, and it takes some time. Let's wait for our version to be reflected over here in the repository. Okay, so my version is now updated over here. Let's click on use, and let's click on yes. So this will update my project inside my environment. Let's again go to jobs. Again, let's try to execute it by going to my project and executing it inside the AWS machine. Let's click on start. Okay, Okay, this seems to be some problem. Let me quickly refresh it. All right, let's go to jobs again. All right, so the command has been sent now. Let's go to my AWS server and see if it's working fine now. All right, so it has come here. It has clicked, entered my email. So it is now not entering my password. All right, the system seems to be working a little slow. All right, so I guess that is it. My automation completed successfully. It is asking me one more sign in because it is being logged in into some other page, some other server which is in a different region, and that is why it is asking me to verify myself. But the thing is, we successfully executed our project on a different machine that was in a remote location. We executed from the orchestrator, and we were able to execute the project from our end by publishing it onto the repository and then executing it from the orchestrator. So with that, guys, I would like to conclude today's session. So thank you guys for attending today's session. I hope you learned something new today. Right now, before ending the session, guys, let me quickly show you some of the things that we guys at Edureka have made it available for you. Right, so this is a playlist that we have uploaded on YouTube. You can go through this playlist if you want to learn more about RPA. Right, we have around 4 videos right now. We'll be uploading more in the future. Right, you can go here and learn about the basic concepts of RPA. If you guys are interested in taking a course from us, you can actually go to the Edureka page and you can see our course. We take batches on weekends and weekdays. All right, so you can go to the page and you can choose a batch according to your timings and you can enroll in the course. Also, guys, if you guys like this session, I would like to give I'd like you guys to give us a feedback around that. So you have to go to resources.edureka.co, Edureka live courses offer, and enter the first name, your email, your phone number, and every response that is here, and click on submit. So if you give us a feedback, we might give you or we are supposed to give you an offer. So that is about that, and I think that is it from my side, guys. So thank you for attending today's session. I hope you guys learned something new today. See you in the next session. Have a good day ahead. Goodbye.